Everyone will end up having an argument in a relationship at some point. It's gonna happen. In this video, we're gonna be talking about how to avoid arguments, and this information comes from the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, chapter 9, and it's part of my whole series for men to understand women better. The playlist is in the description below, so you'll find all the videos that I've done from 1 to 9 so far. One of the most important things we need to understand about arguing in a relationship is that how we say things to our partner, our woman, is more affecting than what we even say. This can easily and quickly turn into a war and a battle on who can hurt each other more. And this can all stem from just a simple disagreement. Most disagreements and most arguments can be solved and fixed with just a simple understanding of each other. We can agree to disagree and just simply understand each other's side and watch how much more peaceful your relationship will become. Another problem that we have in a relationship is that the closer we are with somebody, the harder it is to listen to them objectively. If I told you something that you don't like, you can easily disagree with me and you're not gonna have your feelings hurt. But when it comes from your partner, you really care about what they feel, you really care about what they think. This is why it's gonna be really hard to listen to them objectively and not have a whole battle and argument because there's so much feelings and emotions involved. For us to have less arguments, we need to be aware of ourselves. I'm gonna read you this section from my notes. As a man, whenever we feel challenged, we focus on being right, and we forget to be loving with our partners. We may end up sounding hurtful or unloving because we are focused on being right. This is a common problem that we have as men. We're not really thinking about how the other side feels. And we know from my previous videos that women care a lot about how her feelings are, about being understood, being heard. She doesn't care so much about being right or being wrong. She's gonna care more about her feelings. So we need to remember this as a man. A man unknowingly hurts his partner by speaking in an uncaring manner and then goes on to explain why she should not be upset. He mistakenly assumes she is resisting the content of his point of view when really his unloving delivery is what upsets her. He defends his point of view while she defends herself from his sharpened expressions, which are hurtful to her. When a man neglects to honor a woman's feelings, he invalidates them and increases her hurt. So this is what we need to remember in summary of this section, is that the way we say things, the way we are intending to say things is what's going to cause the most of the hurt. So let's go on to figuring out the 4 F's, which is avoiding hurt, how we can avoid the pain. There are 4 ways people do it. It's either fight, flight, fake, or fold. Fight and flight are very common for men, so let's get into fight. Usually men will take the argumentative approach and they'll start to blame, judge, or criticize, or just demean the other side to make them give up. You're gonna fight them until they can't resist anymore and they're just like, oh. In your relationship, this is gradually gonna increase the resentment and lower the love. You can only have one or the other, either more love and less resentment, or more resentment and less love. This is gonna ruin the intimacy within your relationship, even if you might think you'd be winning these arguments. The next one is flight. Men most often don't wanna talk about their feelings. I understand this, we know this. Many times couples, especially men, will stop talking about their feelings because they don't feel like they're gonna be understood and heard. This is called flight. You may think that you're keeping more peace in your relationship, but really you're not. You're just lowering the amount of love. I'm not sure what kind of relationship you would like to have, but a loving relationship for me is to be honest and open and to feel that my needs and my opinion and my voice will be heard and met. If in your relationship you feel like not saying how you feel is a loving relationship, then you're welcome to have that. Everyone's relationship is different. Fake and fold are gonna be more common for women. Faking is when they're gonna just seem like they're happy, pretend that everything is all right, even though inside they're not actually feeling that way. They're gonna pretend to be agreeable and they're going to pretend that everything is all right, there's no problem, but really inside they're just letting it go. They're not actually feeling that way. Fold is also very common for men as well, is when they give up what they desire in order to please their partners. If you want to sleep on the left side of the bed and she wants to sleep on the left side of the bed and you guys keep arguing about it, she might fold and just sleep on the right side while you can have the left. So she gave up what she desired in order for you to have what you wanted. This type of folding is going to lead to a depression due to self-denial of their desires. It's going to lead to resentment of their partners because they're giving you what you want and they're not getting what they want. My easiest solution to this folding is to have a conversation when you're in a good mood. Say, hey, I love you and I don't want you to ever have to give up something for me. I don't want you to have to sacrifice something just for me. So if you ever feel like I'm pressuring you to do something specific or you have to give in something that you don't want to do in order to please me, I want you to be honest with me. I don't want you to do that. I want you to be happy doing whatever it is you do. You can say something along those lines. It basically lets your partner know, I don't want you to do this. And you should only do this when you're in a good, comfortable mood. Anytime you want to have a discussion with your partner about something for the future, you want to do it when you're in a good mood. So that way you can think clearly, more objectively. But when you're arguing and you want to set like standards for the next time you're arguing, or that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. In my Patreon, in the description below, I'm going to have 8 hidden reasons why women will argue with men. I'll give you the first one. I don't like it when he minimizes the importance of my feelings or requests. I feel dismissed and unimportant. And then it's also going to have the need that you need to meet in order to solve this, which is she needs to feel validated and cherished. Instead, she feels judged and ignored. You're going to find that in the description below. Join my Patreon, it's free. The next thing we need to know is the anatomy of an argument. If we know the anatomy of an argument, then we can say, oh, this step is happening, this step is happening, this step is happening. We start to recognize before the argument kicks in. And this awareness that we'll have is what's really going to prevent more arguments from happening. The most common order of operations for an argument goes like this. The woman expresses upset feelings about X. The man then explains why the woman should not be upset about X. The woman then feels invalidated and upset, more upset than X was already making her. The man then feels disapproval and becomes upset with the woman, expecting her to apologize. Then either the woman will apologize or it will turn into an argumentative battle where you guys are hurting each other's feelings. So for us men, what do we actually need to do in order to prevent arguments with our woman? First of all, like we said, we need to actually listen and understand her side of view. And especially this is going to be the hardest thing that we're going to do when the thing that's upsetting her is about us. That's going to be the hardest thing. We need to also remember that women are from Venus. They speak a different language. And whenever she comes to you, she's telling you that she's upset about something you did or something that someone else did. It's going to be a lot easier if someone else upset her for you to say these 2 key words. I'm sorry. That doesn't mean it's your fault for anything. I know as us men, when we say I'm sorry, it means we're almost like defeated. We're saying we did something wrong. Many times we didn't do anything wrong. But to the woman language, like I said, they're from a different world. When you tell them, I'm sorry for that you feel this way about X, Y, and Z that happened to you, you're basically telling her, I understand how you feel. I know it's painful. I know it hurts. And I'm here to listen to you. It doesn't mean you're wrong at all. But these 2 words are going to help a lot in your arguments. Watch. Now we know that's the secret words. The 2 key words and how to understand the woman, make her feel heard and understood. Remember, she's from a different language. When you're telling you're sorry to a woman, it's much different than saying you're sorry to a man for something you did wrong. It's very different. It's completely different. So keep that in mind, especially in the next time an argument comes up or something upsets her that's not related to you. It's going to be easier for you to say, I'm sorry you feel that way about X, Y, and Z when it's not related to something that you did. Now, as us men, how do we make arguments worse? We will usually make arguments worse in a relationship, with women especially, when we start to explain why she shouldn't be upset about something. We think very logically and rationally. When we explain to our guy best friends, our boys, we tell them, hey, you shouldn't be so upset about this and that, whatever, forget about it, don't worry about it. It was bound to happen or something. Like, we try to minimize the importance of that thing that happened. We might be helping each other out, but to women, this is the worst thing you could do. You're basically telling her, your feelings don't matter, you're wrong, and it's not good, and you're gonna break her heart, basically, and she's not gonna want to come back and be open and honest with you. The key principle is to remember that they're from Venus, is that they don't think the same way we do. So whenever we start looking at women, we need to think of them as aliens, How do we speak in the right language with them? If I speak English, I need to start speaking Spanish or Arabic or French or German or Chinese, whatever the other language that they speak. You still can explain all the reasons why she shouldn't be upset, but only after you make her feel heard and acknowledged for how she feels and not wrong for how she feels. After you tell her, I'm sorry that this happened to you and that you feel this way. Give it a little time, and then you can say, well, it might not be all that bad. Now you can start giving your reasons. She's going to be ready to listen to you. The moment she feels heard and acknowledged, any woman will listen to anything you want to say. The last thing I'm going to leave you with in today's video is that we need to have a conversation with our partners about how we're going to deal with arguments and how we're going to deal with disagreements before they happen. And we usually want to do this when we're in a good mood, when we're feeling good, when everything is good and fine, because we want to set ourselves up in the future for success. Every couple is going to have a different way they want to handle arguments. You can set some standards saying like, okay, if we both get really angry, then we're going to take a 5-minute break, 10-minute break, whatever. We're just going to come back to the discussion with a clean mind. Or you could say something like, if we're having a really bad argument, or we can tell that an argument is going to come, we promise not to insult each other, calling each other names. See, you could set yourself some standards for your relationship. It's a team effort, right? So have this conversation with your partner. It's going to help tremendously. So this has concluded all the information that I've learned from chapter 9 of the book. The next chapter we're going to be discussing is how to score points with women. This chapter I've read multiple times. I've always come back to it because it's very important to know how to score points with women. I'm sure you guys want to score some points, right? The main headline of that next chapter is, you think doing a big thing for your woman is going to get you a lot of points. It's actually only worth one, and we're going to find out why. I want you to join me on Patreon in the link below. You're going to find my text posts, my notes, and you're going to have all my updates on all my videos. I'd really appreciate if you join. You can join as a free member. Thank you again for watching, and check out the playlist in the description below. See you next time.